सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। ॐ पूर्णमतः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादं शङ्करं लोकशङ्करं शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः। ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। From today onwards until 16th of December, we are embarking on journey to Sadhan Panchakam. Sadhan Panchakam is a hymn or a stotra which is attributed, am I audible to all? Is attributed to Sri Adi Shankaracharya ji. Panchakam, as you all must already be knowing, Panchakam means a group of 5 verses. It can be a group of Ashtakam also, Dashakam, anything. But this is Panchakam, which means there are 5 verses. And the Sadhana Panchakam. Sadhana means, as it is very evident, it means the means which is meant or which we adopt to reach to a goal, to an end. So that is Sadhana Panchakam. Now a question may arise in our mind that this is Sadhana Panchakam, a stotra which delineates 5 verses, which gives the means, which talks about the means. But means to what? Means to a goal. Now goal or the end is called sadhya. Precisely by the means, the end that you want to reach is called sadhya. Now, a question may arise as to what is the goal? What is that goal for which we are adopting this means? So let us dwell a little upon this sadhya. We all human beings are born seekers. Due to ignorance, we all, each and every human being, the very fact that we are born shows that we are on a quest. We are all seeking something. What is it that we are seeking? This may not be very clear to everyone, but as Lord Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, he very well says, Nahi kaschit kshanamapi jatu tishtati akar. Shall we raise the volume little bit? Bhagwan says in Bhagavad Gita, Nahi kaschit kshanamapi jatu tishtati akarmakrit karyate hyavashak karma sarvav prakrutijair gunehi. Which means not even for a moment can a person remain without activity. The activity may not be evident outside, but it goes on inside. Precisely in the form of seeking something. Every moment we are impelled to do something or the other, either in the form of action or it may be a mental action. Why? Because we are prodded by the sense of want, the sense of incompleteness. Due to ignorance, this sense of incompleteness is very much at the core of every human being. And because of that, this human being, this jiva, is constantly on the quest of fulfilling, trying to fulfill himself. Every person, according to their understanding of where they will find that fulfillment or fullness, they look into different things, depending upon their perception. But one thing remains common. And what is it? That everybody is seeking completeness, seeking happiness. And what kind of happiness are they seeking? For 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, how much? 24/7. And that too for lifetime. We constantly need happiness. And that is absolute happiness, which knows no want, which knows no incompleteness at all. You can lower it a little. This is the quest. This is what every human being, each and every human being, in fact, each jiva, is constantly seeking. It's a different matter that they don't find it. But if they pause and take some time off to inquire into themselves or ask themselves the basic questions as to, in spite of my looking for this happiness, in spite of looking around everywhere, right, left, up, down, east, west, everywhere, we must have gone through everything. Why am I not finding it? Why am I not getting the hang of it? This cognitive change is required. Until then, we keep on moving everywhere, trying different things to find this. Sometimes it is not even clear to us as to what am I really seeking. But the thing remains that everybody is seeking the pleased self. To put it in Swamiji's words, everybody is seeking pleased self. I always want to feel good about myself. And that I cannot do it on my own. And that is why we resort to things outside of ourselves, from different people, from different objects, from different places, and whatnot. As I said, it calls for some rare few. It calls for some very, very intelligent people who will take a pause, take stock of their life and experiences that they've gone through and are going through also, and ask themselves, so many experiences have passed, but I have not found it. Then where is it? So it calls for some Arjuna or Naradji or Shaunaka to ask as to what is it? Each and every experience gives me something, but it is not capable of giving me that, having gained which, there remains nothing more to be gained. As Atma Bodha says, Yal labhat na paro labha, yad jnanat na param jnanam. Having gained which, there remains nothing more to be gained. I feel complete. I feel happy. And I am happy with myself. I am self-sufficient. I find that thing. Where is it? So for this, what we need to do, and what great people have done, is that we have to examine. we have to examine our experiences, our life. As Mundakopanishad will say, as you'll be looking into that, Swamiji will be talking about that. Parikshya Lokan. We have to examine everything, all the experiences that we go through. From right, left, paritaha ikshanam, from all sides. What are these experiences giving me? And what am I missing out? They definitely give me something, but what is the price that I'm paying for it? In spite of paying the price, what I'm getting, what is the nature of that? How long does it remain? How long does it give me that sensation? It gives something, but how long does it remain? And for that too, what a price I am paying? How much time? How much energy? What an amount of investment, emotional, intellectual, big amount of investment we are making. A good businessman would always think about it. What am I putting into and what am I getting? What is the net profit? What is the net profit that we will look into before going into that? Similarly, in trying to get that happiness from the world outside, I am paying a big price. And in spite of paying that price, my cup still remains half. It never gets full. My cup is never full. So, what am I doing? Where am I going? When we ask ourselves these questions, and that can happen only and only when we examine the experiences. When we examine them, things look very fascinating. Things look very attractive. As Kathopanishad says, that prayaha is that which looks attractive, which looks fascinating, and you go for it, but then the end result, when you look into the end result, you find that you have missed out. You did not quite get what you wanted. So, when we think on life and our experiences, take stock of it. There is no point in just running. There's no point in just going after things one after the other. If we look into our life, we will find that right from childhood up to this stage, we have been constantly trying different things, not to talk about the lives that we have gone through. Even if we examine this life itself and whatever age we have been through, in that also we will find that we have already enjoyed a number of things. In childhood, there were objects pertaining to that age. And that time too, I was not satisfied with a toy. I tried it, I wanted another. Then came adolescence. Then objects pertaining to that age, I tried that also. That age went, childhood went, adolescence came and said bye-bye. Then came youth. Then there were objects pertaining to that age. I enjoyed that, tried that. For a while, looks good also. Even that age passes. We come to, what shall we say, become senior. Even then, if we don't wait to ask ourselves these questions as to, what is this doing? Then even that age will pass. We will be knocking the old age. Even at that time, if we don't pause and ask these fundamental questions, these basic questions, these prodding questions, then even that will pass, which must have been the case. Otherwise, if we have passed through so many births together from time immemorial. And still, I have not been able to find that thing. So, that is it. That is what I'm seeking. What? Absolute happiness, absolute contentment, fulfillment. Call it, give whatever name that you want. Total freedom from any kind of want. That I may desire. Desire is not wrong. You may desire a thing, but you are not bound by it. If I get what I wanted, then also fine. And if I don't get it, then also fine. Desire doesn't bind me. As Swamiji talks about two kinds of desires. One is binding desires. One set of desires is that which binds me. Which means if they are not fulfilled, I am left high and dry. I'm nowhere. And other set of desires are non-binding. Even if I get it, if I get idli dosa in the breakfast, fine. If you don't get it, then too fine. You take things in your stride. They don't unsettle you. Your fulcrum, your focus remains where it is. So, there is nothing wrong with it. But if my want, if my desire is not fulfilled, and I am constant, that constantly troubles me, bothers me, that means I'm still very far away from my goal. So this is what we are seeking. And for that, for this, Shastra gives this sadhya the name moksha. We call it freedom from want, absolute happiness, contentment, whatever. This is the sadhya. This is the goal which every human being is seeking. They are trying in their own way. But here comes Bhashyakara. Here comes Adi Shankaracharya ji with the Sadhana Panchakam, wherein he gives us the means, the definite means, systematic means, which one by one, slowly but surely leading us to the goal. So, this is Sadhana Panchakam. Now, let us look into this word. All this sadhya, sadhana, all these words are derived from the root sadh, which is in the sense of achieving, accomplishing, to fulfill. Sadh, the root. The root is that. From that, these words are derived. Sadhya, sadhana, plus sadhaka. One who is seeking is called sadhaka. One who has already found it is called siddha. Is called siddha. And the accomplishment itself is called what? Is called what? Siddhi. So siddhi, sadhaka, siddha, sadhya, sadhana, all these are derived from the root sadh, which is in the sense of attaining. Okay. So here Bhashyakara gives us the 5 verses. In all the verses have 4 lines. And in each line, there are 2 means. 2 means are given in each lines. So one verse has 4 lines. So in total, in one verse, there are how many? 8 means. And when you multiply it with the 5, it becomes total 40 means. So a 40 flight of steps or 40 ladders, ladder made of 40 steps leading you to the goal. So that is what Sadhana Panchakam is. Because these are steps, that is why which systematically leads you, not only leads you, but one prepares you for the another one. And that is how they lead you to the goal. That is why another name for this stotra is Sopana Panchakam. Sopana. Sopana means flight, steps. So it is also called Sopana Panchakam. It is also called Upadesha Pancharatna. It is also called Upadesha Pancharatna. So these 5 verses are like jewels, which gives the teachings about the sadhana leading to the sadhya. And it has been said that when Bhashya, we'll talk about that, about Bhashyakara, but there is this small story about it, that when Bhashyakara, Bhagwan Bhashyakara, that is Shankaracharya ji, was about to wind up his life mission and he was ready to go, at that time, this is very important, so his students, all his students, they requested for a final message. Because when you are about to leave, then what you speak is also very important, very, very pertinent. So they requested. And listening to their request, he came with this sadhana. So this is his last message. This is Bhashyakara's last message. And when we look into this, we'll find what a wonderful and thorough Panchakam is this. Now, before we get into the stotra proper, it is necessary and becoming to have a few words on the author, on the poet. Why? Thereby we'll be respecting, offering our veneration to Bhashyakara and receiving his blessings. So I thought we will have a few words on Bhashyakara. I'm sure all of you know him, have read about him, but still it is always nice, just as we take Ishvara's name every day. Similarly, we should remember the Guru. We fondly call him not Shankaracharya ji, but we call fondly and out of veneration, out of our respect, we call him Bhagavan Bhashyakara. Any teacher, for a student, any teacher is Bhagavan only. Our culture is such that we don't look upon Guru as an ordinary human being. We look upon Guru as Bhagavan only. More so with Bhashyakara. Why? Because he was not an ordinary human being at all. He was nothing, it has been said that he was nothing but incarnation of Lord Shiva. Shankaram Shankaracharyam. It has been Shankaram Shankaracharyam. Shankara alone is Shankaracharya ji. So we do not look upon him as individual or human being at all. He is nothing but Sakshat Bhagavan for us. And that is why we call him Bhagavan Bhashyakara. See, had it not been for him, had it not been for Bhashyakara, perhaps we would not have a place like this. We would not be studying Upanishads and Bhagavad Gita and Vedanta. There would not have been an access to Vedanta at all. It is thanks to him. Thanks to him, and we are totally indebted to him that we are having access to all this. Vedanta is due to him. And so we'll first pay our respects to him by knowing a few words, or by, even though we know it, we are revising it. So this is what Bhashyakara is. He came at a time when this country was going through a very, very tumultuous time. It was a dark period of decadence, strife, unrest, and lack of peace and direction throughout India. India was going through darkness in social, political, intellectual, and in all the fields. There was absolutely nobody to guide, nobody to give direction. And Vedic culture was on the brink of total disintegration. India is basically, what we are is a Vedic culture. And that culture itself was on the brink of total disintegration. It is at such a time that there was a need for a powerful, very, very powerful persona to come and rescue Vedic culture. Why? Because Vedas were there, but what happens, that when a thing is followed for a long time, as Lord Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita in the 4th chapter, that when Artha and Kama, when our need for pleasure and security becomes prominent, then dharma goes on the back burner. Not to mention what happens to moksha. Dharma goes on the back burner. So Lord Krishna says, Sakale neha mahata yogo nashtaha parantapa. Oh Parantapa, this was there right from the beginning. I myself gave this knowledge to Vivaswan, to Surya, etc. But now it is all lost. How come? Why? Because dharma requires lot of courage, lot of discipline, lot of, you have to, shamadhi, shatka, sampatti, a life of restraint and tyaga, all this is tapaha, all this is required. But unfortunately, when artha and kama becomes prominent, then dharma goes behind. And then slowly, without our knowledge, corruptions, decadence, all this enters. And that is exactly what had happened about 2000 years ago. Vedas were reduced to merely rigid rituals, and let me tell you, all kinds of heinous practices, animal sacrifices, etc., had also become prominent. Because of not understanding the purport of the Vedas and what the real message is, those kind of people, those kind of leaders and acharyas were unfortunately not there. And that is why what happened, people with brahmanas and others with vested interests took advantage of this. And karma kanda, mere karma kanda, and rigid practices and rituals became prominent. People did not understand what is happening. And all kinds of, as I said, animal sacrifices and heinous practices had also entered. A lot of corruptions and squabbles were found in the religion itself. It was rampant. And at this time, naturally, people were tired of all this. And at that time, Buddhism and Jainism arose as a protest against all this, mainly against the animal sacrifices. And tantric practices also flourished like anything. With the, there were no benign forms of gods and goddesses. There were ferocious forms of goddesses, etc., which demanded, as it were, sacrifices. And the priests and the followers of Tantra took advantage of this. And so sacrifices of even human beings and animals was also prevalent at that time. So Buddha, Lord Buddha, came with Buddhism. And that was good. He was an apostle of compassion. He preached karuna, compassion. That was fine. Even Jainism came preaching about all this. And people liked it. But what they should not have done is remove all this which had entered into the system. They did not do that, but They threw away the entire Vedas. It is like saying, throwing the baby with the bath water. In the hospital, when the child is born, the nurse takes and cleans the baby in a tub and then throws away the water along with the baby. That is not to be done. Similarly here, some things had some unbecoming, wrong practice. They had some corruption had definitely entered. It would have been more becoming, and what Buddha and Mahavira should have done to remove all this and set the thing right. That is what from time to time acharyas and great leaders are supposed to do. They should be doing this, setting right things. Things can come, but not doing this, they threw away the Vedas entirely. So the main message of the Vedas, Tattvamasi, you are that which you are seeking, was also lost to people. This brilliant and most important message also people could not get. And then other things came. At that time, not less than 72 matas, 72 different darshanas flourished, not one or two. And all of them had their say over people. People were totally confused. They were engulfed by all kinds of misconceptions. It is at this time, it is said that Lord Vishnu, it has been said, that Lord Vishnu and Brahmaji approached Lord Shiva to do something about this. And then came the birth of, it is said that Shankara came as Shankaracharya. He was born to Aryamba and Shiva Guru in Kerala. So this is how he was born. Yada yada hi dharmasya glanir bhavati bhai. This is most correct, Whenever there is glani of dharma, then to set it right, Ishvara in some form or the other definitely appears. And that is what happened. Shankaracharya ji with a mission of setting things right, mission of reviving the Vedic culture. This is the mission with which he came. And very soon when we examine his life, when we look into his life sketch, we find that right from the childhood, he was a prodigy. It was for him going and learning was a formality. Very soon, he learned everything. Started teaching. At the age of 6 or 7, started teaching. Imagine. We are still not knowing what to do. not even able to spell out things properly. He started teaching Vedanta. And then at the age of 8, somehow, cheated his mother, took sannyasa, and then set out in the search of his guru. That was also a formality. Went to Narmada, found his teacher. For that also he was directed, go this side, in this direction. You will find your teacher. So with Govindapadaji, he learnt Vedanta, and very soon Govindapadaji came to know that this is nothing but a great teacher who has come. And so he was asked to go to Kashi. And this is how everything began. He went to Kashi, started teaching, wrote so many stotras, etc. And then the main thing which began, what? Commentaries upon Prasthanatrayi. Prasthanatrayi is what? Is the edifice upon which Vedanta stands. And the major contribution of Sri Shankaracharya ji is writing bhashyas, writing commentaries upon these three. The edifice upon which Vedanta stands. That is what? Upanishads, Bhagavad Gita, and Brahma Sutras. He started writing commentaries upon in Badrikashram. He went to Himalayas and started writing that. And then it is said when he was teaching Brahma Sutras, this all you all already know, but I enjoy talking about this. That when he was teaching Brahma Sutra, and there was, I forget the name of that sutra, the number of that sutra. When he was teaching that, an old Brahmana came and he started asking questions about that, one after the other. It seems their discussion went on for 16 days upon one sutra. For 16 days, not less than that. The arguments went this way, that way. And then at the end of the 16th day, that Brahmana, he manifested him, he showed himself that he is nothing but Veda Vyasaji. He was so pleased that ultimately the key to the sutras, aphorisms, sutras means aphorisms, aphorisms upon Brahman, that is Brahma Sutras. Finally, the key to my Brahma Sutras has been found. Because Brahma Sutras were written, but there was nobody to understand that. And when you write something, it is not just for the sake of writing, to adorn your library. No. It is meant for people. It should reach them. And the message should go home. That did not happen so far with the Brahma Sutras. So and he was testing him, talking to him while they were discussing. At that time, actually, let me tell you, Padmapadacharyaji, the student of Shankaracharya, he came to know that he told to Shankaracharya, this is not an ordinary person. He's nothing but Badarayana himself. He's nothing but Badarayana, Vedavyasji himself has come. And then he showed himself. And he was so pleased, he gave him the bonus of another 16 years. Bhashyakara's life was destined to be only just this much. But Vedavyasji said, no, you are not going. The mission is not over. In fact, it has begun. So he granted him another 16 years. And he said, now go and spread the message. The time has come. So now he went back again to the plains. Now all the work is done of writing the Bhashya. Yes, of course, so many other things also. He has written Prakarana Granth, number of Prakarana Granthas and Stotras and what not. Everything. But now he went and traveled from Kashmir to Kanyakumari. Length and breadth of India. He traveled the length and breadth of India from Kashmir to Kanyakumari thrice, not once, thrice. Not with the flights and trains and buses and all that. On foot. On foot, he traveled with the mission of spreading the message. And during the process, met all the acharyas of different darshanas. Mimamsa, Nyaya, Vaisheshika, Jain, what not. Discussed with them, had Shastrartha with them, and convinced them. This is called as Digvijaya, conquest in all. Digvijaya means conquest in all the directions. And that is what he did. And he did not win, by force, no, I'm correct, not that way, but with love. And he taught them in such a manner that they were convinced, not only convinced, but most of them became his students, took sannyasa and joined him, joined his troop. That is what happened when he went to Kumarila Bhatta. He was immolating himself. And he said, I am not in a position to talk to you. He is the main person of Mimamsa, Purva Mimamsa. So he said, I am not in a position to talk to you. You go and talk to my student, my Shishya. Who was that? Who was that? Mandana Mishra in south. So Bhashyakara will be. And then imagine, he said, please see to it that I pass away smoothly. I want to go now. Bhashyakara gave him his blessings. And then he quietly left. So this is how, with each and every acharyas, he discussed, talked to them, and then spread the message of Vedanta. Because this is the message which gives you what you are really seeking. This is where you find your fulfillment, and this has to be communicated. That is what he did. And on the way, met the kings and people and everything. Doing so much is to be done. All the temples needed to be rebuilt. Temples needed to be rebuilt. He did that. Organized everything. Installed the deities also, because all this was also missing. Not only this, set the method of worship also, taught them and showed them how it is to be done. All these things was set right. Plus, talked about the Panchayatana Puja. This was also a big reform. Why? Because people were divided. People of India were divided based on the Devata which they were worshipping. If one was worshipping Shiva, then they were against Vishnu, and all kinds of people were divided and fighting. Even now it is sometimes happening. So he did that. That no, you may worship one, your Ishta Devata, your personal deity, but respect others. So Panchayatana Puja has the concept of your main deity in the center, and rest of them, Shakti, Shiva, Vishnu, Surya, Ganesha, all of them are also given their proper places and respected. This is how he united. He did this. Plus, removed or replaced the Tantra and the evil practices in the Tantra by installing Shri Yantra wherever it was needed, and the benign forms of gods and goddesses were given. And he removed what? The ferocious ones, bloodthirsty and that kind of gods were there. He removed all of them. And this is how so much was done by him. Then, besides this, so much stotras and all this are also written. Then, at the end of his life, 32 years are now, he is about, it is time for him to leave now. So at the end, he goes to Srinagar, because there was this Sarvagnya Pita. Whoever is the best, and the best was supposed to be sitting there. And so that was in Srinagar. But for that, you have to first win over and debate with all the other darshanas. He again did that. And then finally, he was coronated on the Sarvagnya Pita. Now, his mission is over. But he saw to it that even after he leaves, this should be maintained. And that is why in all the 4 directions of India, of Bharata, he set the mathas. The mathas were set up. He had his 4 students, Padmapadacharya-ji, Hastamalaka-ji, Sureshwaracharya-ji, and Totakacharya-ji. All 4 had come from different Vedas. So, in the east is the direction of Rigveda. East is the direction of Rigveda. And Padmapadacharya-ji was placed there in the Govardhan Mutt. The Mahavakya for Rigveda is what? Prajnanam Brahma. So just for your information. Then comes West. In the West, he installed, he gave the place to, Totakacharya-ji. Totakacharya-ji, Hastamalaka was in north, if I am not mistaken. I have written that. In the west, north, Hastamalaka-ji. In the west, in the Sharada Mutt, was Totakacharya-ji. He was placed there in the Shrungeri Mutt, Sharada Mutt. Then in the north is the direction of Atharva Veda. And there, Hastamalakacharya-ji was placed in the Joshi Mutt. Then in the south is the direction of Yajurveda. And here is the Shrungeri Mutt, where who was placed? One of his best students, Sureshwara Charyaji. So this is just to, he saw to it that the posterity also gets the advantage of this. This message should not be lost. Vedas should remain. And that is how he saw to it that the Sanatana Dharma is established and revived. This is what he did. And thereafter he is now ready to go. But his students, they requested for the last message. And so he came with this sadhana panchakam. So this is his last message. And when you are about to leave, you know, the most important, you want to give the best. Even otherwise he gave the best. But you want to use so much love and care and concern and everything is there. So the best thing comes out of you. And that is how he came up, he gave this sadhana panchakam. So this is in brief about Sri Shankaracharya ji, Adi Shankaracharya ji, whom we fondly and out of respect call Bhagwan Bhashyakara. As I said, we are totally indebted to him, grateful to him, and we should always just not say this that we are grateful, but in our own way imbibe this message in our life, plus as far as possible be an instrumental in spreading this message. Then only we'll be doing our service to the teacher. So this is in brief about him. And now with this much introduction, we can get into sadhan pancha. This is correct, you know, this watch here, clock here. I hope you have, all of you have this. You have your books, no? Okay. So, the first verse. We will begin with the first verse. I'm reading, you just repeat after me. Vedo nityamadhiyatam taduditam karmasvanushthiyatam. Teneshasya vidiyatam apachitihi ka. Okay. Oops. Kamye matistyajyatam papogah parithuyatam bhavasukhe dosho nusandiyatam Atmecha vyavasiyatam nijagruhat. Turnam vinirgamyatam. See, the very first sadhana which he recommends is Vedaha Nityam Adhiyatam. May you study the Vedas regularly. May you always study the Vedas. Make it a practice to study the Vedas. Mere studying or reading it is not enough. Tad uditam karma svanushthiyatam. Tad uditam. Tad means in the Vedas. Vede uditam karmaha su anushtiyatam, sushtu anushtiyatam. Whatever karmas are recommended or mentioned in the Vedas by the name of Nitya, Naimittika, all these karmas which are to be done daily and in the form of obligatory duties, may you do them. Don't escape from them. Do it religiously. Mere speaking about it, reading about it is not enough. Bring it into life. Walk the talk, as they say. Bring it into life. Then, tena ishasya vidiyatam apachitihi. Tena, again, through that, from what the Veda, by that karmas, by the nitya naimittika karmas, which Vedas recommend, may you worship Ishvara. May you apachitihi means worship. Tena ishasya vidiyatam apachitihi. May you worship Ishvara, do it in the form of worship. Do it in the form of worship. So your worship, your life itself becomes a worship. Because we will talk about it, which we will talk about each and every means in detail. But our life, and because karma, action is spread in our life, it is rampant in our life, so why not use that itself to transform ourselves? Karma is to be used to transform ourselves, to develop our personality, to prepare ourselves for the final goal. So, tena ishasya, and thereby, when it becomes a worship, naturally you get the blessings also. You get the blessings of Ishvara. Then now see, we'll be seeing one is preparing you, leading you to other one. Then, having done all this, then there are kamya karmas also. Desire, Vedas talk about daily and obligatory duties, plus even sakama karma. If you have desires, Vedas cannot say, no, you are not supposed to fulfill the desires. So they are also there. But for a seeker, what is Bhashyakara saying? Gradually. If your goal is clear to you and you want to fulfill it in this life itself, if you know the value of this life, because Upanishad says, Iha ched avedit atha satyam asti. Keno Upanishad says categorically, Iha ched avedit, if you know it in this life. Iha ched, if you know it here and now, in this life itself, you have known it. You have made your life. Upanishad also, in the later part of the mantra says, no ched iha avedit mahati vinasht. If you don't know it now, which means in this life, then what is waiting for you? Big loss. Big loss. So, what does this mantra say? That you have to, whatever you want to do, you have to do it now, because later you don't know. So, therefore, this means comes. Kamye matihi tyajyatam. For a seeker, it is said that gradually give up desires. We will talk about this. Desire is a big thing. But what kind? I don't resort to desires to fulfill myself. Desire should become a luxury. Desire is not that through that I will fulfill myself. No, I will use it for people to help others, but not for fulfilling my needs. Which needs? Not the needs of the body, mind, not the needs of the body, but other needs are allowed. Kamye matihi tyajyatam. Then, papogaf paridhuyatam. May you now wash away papogah. May you wash away all the sins, multitude of sins. May you uproot them. They will not go away like that. You will have to work upon it. Because sins, durita is one. Sins means the karmas which are unknowingly or knowingly done by me, but now today they stand on my way in the form of obstacles. They pose as obstacles, not allowing me to achieve my goal. So may you systematically remove them by doing punya karmas. So, papogav paridhuyatam. Then, bhavasukhe doshaha anusandiyatam. may you see the limitations in indulgence. Bhava sukhe. Bhava sukhe means when you look upon the objects as a source of your sensuous pleasures, then that is here mentioned as bhava sukha. May you try, may you give up them. Bhava sukhe, what all limitations, what all pitfalls are involved in them, may you look into that. Then comes an important message. Atmecha vyavasiyatam. May you develop, may you entertain or cultivate the desire to know the self. Atmecha, Atma, desire to know the self, vyavasiyatam. May you cultivate that. And then comes the message. Nija gruhat turnam vinirgamyatam. Then you quickly give up your home. This we may not like. Nija gruhat, he was very, very, let us say, insistent. He insisted upon it. Bhashyakara strongly believed in sannyasa. He looks in Brihadaranyaka Bhashya, etc. He underlines what? That it is only through sannyasa that you can get moksha. Everybody doesn't agree with that, because there are examples like Janaka, Videha. It's Anandgiriji himself says it's not necessary. You can live a life of sannyasa even at home. But Bhashyakara was a strong believer. He strongly believed that no. So he says, see, Nija Gruhat Turnam, when the desire to know the self is burning inside, it's a burning desire, then that is the time. You should hit the nail when it is hot. Hit it. So when this desire is very strong, then leave the home. We will talk about this. We cannot take it literally. Otherwise, who will feed us? Who will feed us and look after us? So, Nija Gruhat Turnam Vinirgamyatam. There are hardly you find an Upanishad talking about this, except for Jabala Upanishad, which categorically says, Yadhareva virajet, Tadhareva pravrajet. Hardly you find, but you do find. Jabala Upanishad, which is not one of the, it doesn't come in the category of the main Upanishads, but it says, Yadhareva viraj, when you find that strong vairagya in you, that time itself, Tadhareva pravraj, that time itself go. Otherwise, you may not go. So, when that is strong, but then you come back, when you find that no, this is not possible, it is very hard, you can come back. That he did not know. That he did not. So, Nija Gruhat Turnam Vinirgamyatam. Then you quickly leave the home. Because in that state of mind, you will be in a position to own up and abide in the self. Because mind, for knowing the self, you require a frame of mind. Not only to know the self, but to abide in the self, in Atma. Mind must be conducive. And when that frame of mind is there, then you better do it. So, these are 8 means. 8 sadhanas are given in this first verse. Tomorrow, we'll begin with the first one. And we'll quickly, because we have just 5 days, I think. 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. 16th, I am not going to get. So I have 5 days for 5 verses. So I'll have to be a Turnam. I will also have to do it very fast. Brief, but not missing out anything. That's what I hope to do. Thank you. Om Purnamata Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः। ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। ॐ शान्तिः शान्तिः शान्तिः। हरिः ॐ श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः। हरिः ॐ।